At Louisiana Central, we were very pleased to be contacted early on by Amazon about their goal to have a last mile center here in Central Louisiana. We were later contacted by the site selector and asked to help facilitate some meetings with local political officials, put them in touch with some of the town officials, parish officials, as they began to work on the logistics of this project. We learned early on that Amazon, of course, is a big company and have very tight non-disclosure agreement with us. So we had to be very careful about who we were able to talk to about the project early on and how we communicated. And we found out later that at the same time we were dealing directly with Amazon, that we had local realtors that were actually dealing with the development company that was working with Amazon. And ironically, we couldn't even communicate with each other because of the non-disclosure agreements.
Started in April of 2023 when I first got the call from the group in Baton Rouge, and they called me to be the site selector for this area. The process was fast and furious, but seemed like it took a long time. Once we started building the spreadsheet of properties, then we were with two of the people from Amazon. Jake Loach in our Baton Rouge office did an unbelievable job. Everything was done on Google Drive, where everybody had access to input, add, but Jake had an interactive map with each link to each property. When we had our conference calls, all they had to do was click on a link and they could actually see the property, the elevation, and everything else involved, which made them have a better look at the property. During that time, we started dealing with another group with Amazon, which was Seafred, and they were involved in the building process. And it wasn't until probably August, beginning of August, that Matt and Van's site came into play, and they kind of zeroed in on that particular property that they liked.
So for the last 7 years, we've been marketing that property as a potential industrial and commercial distribution site. About 3 years ago, we did a deal with Lowe's Home Improvement Stores where we converted an existing building that we had at the property into a Class A distribution warehouse for Lowe's. When that happened, we just anticipated that we would have more Fortune 100 companies show up just because of the geographical location of that Rapid Station property. And today we have over a 2,000 acre footprint with over almost a mile of highway frontage with utilities, all the things that we would need to attract more projects to that area.
The location that Amazon chose in Central Louisiana is ideal for distribution. It is not only because it's located next to other distribution companies, but also because being located on I-49 is a north-south connection by interstate. In addition, we in Central Louisiana are about halfway between I-20 and I-10, both east to west connections. So it creates a real ideal situation for them not only to reach our market, but to reach the rest of the country.
I think it's set up for a good industrial site. The town of Boyce has worked well with, I think, everybody that's involved. So I think that it's been an advantage to have things like that move into the area. The location, the available acreage, the accessibility to I-49, everything is a positive in that area.
The town of Boyce has the sewer, the water capacity, Clico has the electricity capacity. Port of Alexandria is just a few miles down the interstate. So when you start talking about the availability of port, the availability of interstate, and the availability of rail close by, all that makes a perfect union to be a great site for future development.